Hello everyone, it's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and we are back in part 3 of quilting the Dream Big Holiday panel, which is the Poinsettia panel. This is my collaboration with A Bit Orange. They digitized this panel, or this design. I'm using Pro Stitcher and Quiltable, where you can pick that design up. I'm so excited. A Bit Orange did such a fabulous job in this. I can't get enough, and I was actually texting with them this morning. I'm in my travel clothes. I just got back from Austin, teaching there for a week in their handy quilter classroom. I was so excited. They're only the second shop in the nation to have a handy quilter classroom. So if you're in the Austin area, go check out Honeybee Quilts. New owners have taken over, and all I heard the whole time was how great the shop looks and the changes that they're doing, and just making it fresh. They're making it fresh and having a good time doing it. So I'm super excited for them, but I had a great time. And we were talking about this because the video one came out while I was there, and I was talking about the design and how this was digitized, because it's a little bit different. If you go back to my Quilting the Dream Big panel with Pro Stitcher, those designs were made specifically to fit in these petals. So you have to be pretty precise when doing it. And I would get a lot of emails with people like, well, it doesn't fit or it's overlapping, and they weren't super happy about that. It was not the look they were going for. And me, if you've taken a class with me, you know it's like, oops, okay, that's what's going to happen. I'm very good with the flow, so that didn't bother me any. I knew that was going to happen, probably a little bit dependent on the fabric moving, and if it was straight printed and loaded straight, and all of those things. So many things can affect that. So I was actually texting with A Bit Orange this morning. We were messaging back and forth because they were asking about how I like the design and how things were going. I said, oh my gosh, it's fabulous. And I was telling her, it's interesting that they didn't go all the way to the lines. And their response was, well, in the past we would do panels and we would get really frustrated because it went stitched into the other petals. So we decided to, when we approached digitizing this, to bring those designs in, give you some extra buffer area. You know me, I love a buffer. And let the end user, decide if they want to quilt the petal outlines or not. So I can leave this like this. I think you have a little bit of texture coming your way through there, so you can see kind of the stitching. I don't have to go into quilt to stitch down the edges because there's this buffer zone between each of the petals. So it's almost an anti-stitching it down, if that makes sense. It's kind of, the buffer is the border between each piece. But if I wanted to, I can go in and stitch that down, and both of those are going to give two different looks. So if you make two panels, maybe do one where you don't stitch it, like you're basically not stitching the ditch. Do another one where you do stitch it, and see how that is going to change the way that it looks, because those stitching is going to add more stitching in. You're going to get more definition between pieces, but you're also going to get basically a double ridge between all of the petals that is breaking the two up. So I think I'm going to leave mine open. I mean, I'm super excited about this, and as a new user, for you new users that are very, very intimidated about these things, this is something that, because it's not perfect, like you don't have to be perfect on that line, very user-friendly, because you're basically putting it in there and saying, yeah, that looks good. And it does look good. I mean, as long as it's in the petal, it looks good. And what I think in the second video, I overstitched a little bit. You can't tell. We're using thin thread. So I stitched the beginning. We did the video one was loading it, talking about thread, and stitching the center. Just the center kind of piece. It got a little long, so we jumped into video 2, where I continued and we went out and stitched all the petals. And I love texture in quilts. You know me, I love to densely quilt things and have other things pop. So this just is so fantastic, especially when the light hits it right. I'm loving it. I'm totally loving it. So now I'm going in and I'm stitching the outline, or I'm stitching the detail in the actual background leaves. And the detail on this is basically, they're just kind of going in and stitching the veins in the leaves. So you do kind of have to get it right, but I noticed I got this one off a little bit because I've already stitched 2, because I have a new trick, game changer trick. You want to stay tuned. But I've already stitched a few, And it doesn't have as much texture as I'm used to, but it has just the right amount of texture. It's hard to explain because I was like, oh, well, they're just kind of stitching the leaves. But then once I stitch, I'm like, there's so much going on here. This is going to be able to rest your eye, but without like not having anything. I'm in love. I'm in love, and I'm not even done. So I do have to advance, but I woke up yesterday to an email because the video dropped on Friday. So Saturday morning, I wake up to this email. And this tip, 100% Kathy Zimmerman, you're amazing, you're a goddess, oh my gosh, I love you. But she sends me this email and she's like, oh, why are you doing it the hard way? So I learned a new trick. I'm passing it on to you because that's what I do, because I'm so fun apparently. But this trick has to do with how these designs are digitized, and if the digitizer takes the time to go in and set coordinates for you. So I'm going to bring you close so you can see the screen, because I want you to see what's going to happen whenever I open all these designs up. So we're going to bring you over here. Before we get there, I'm Adam So Fun, SEW. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when new videos drop. Follow me on the socials, Adam So Fun on Facebook and Instagram. And a lot of things happen over there that don't make it here. And I'm going to be in Texas. Well, I'll be at I'll already be at Stitch House when this plays. I'll be at Cupcake Quilts later this month. Look them up. I think 2 weeks before Houston Market. Cupcake Quilts in Houston, and then I'm going to be at Houston Quilt Festival in the Handy Quilter booth. So if you go to the festival, you better come say hi. I want to see you. I want to meet you. I want to elbow bump or something. If you're interested in long arm, come see me too. That's always fun. Trade up often. That's what I always say. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to bring you over here and we're going to get started. See you back here in a second.
Alright everyone, so this is a kind of insert into the video because I was flying to Dallas the other day thinking about the video that I had made and realized that I'm not in the most current version of Pro Stitcher. I'm still running 506, and I realized that between the move and my machine being packed up, I never did the update because I just took it out of the box and then started stitching with it and didn't even think about the update coming out when I was traveling or when we were moving. So when you see me open things on the screen in 506, it opened different. Things would open directly to their to where Pro Stitcher has, like the digitizer had put them. So this trick, thank you Kathy Zimmerman, when I do it on my Pro Stitcher in the video, which you'll see next, like in practical use, it's going to look different if you're using 535 or 536 than 506, because 506 didn't open to your crosshairs like this one does. So I'm going to show you how to do it in the most current version of Pro Stitcher, which I'm on Simulator. I'm on my computer. I'm running it on my computer so you can see this because I'm in Dallas and not in front of my machine. So this is what you're going to do if you are running the most current version, which I hope all of you are running the most current version because it has so much more designs in it. You get 100 plus designs in it, so why wouldn't you put it on? So first thing, when you boot up your video or your Pro Stitcher, when you turn it on, it creates your universe. If you go back to playing in Pro Stitcher, I think number 1, I talk about your workspace, your Pro Stitcher universe, the white box that is your screen. When you create that universe, your crosshairs, where your crosshairs are when you turn it on, is the center of your universe. It's the sun. It's where everything revolves around that, for lack of better words. So I'm going to turn my ruler on, and you can see that my crosshairs are at 0, 0. 0, 0 is the center of my universe. So if you're starting this and you loaded your design or loaded your quilt top and you stick your needle at the center of your universe at 0, 0 or at the center of the quilt, which is how this design was digitized, and you boot it up, when you open designs, this design, thank you up at Orange, thank you Quiltable, because this design was digitized with XY coordinate placement in it, so you don't really have to go and, you still have to create areas and stuff, but everything's going to be close. So you're going to see what I'm talking about in a second. I just learned this trick. I knew this button was there, but I thought it did something else. So I'm going to go File, Design, Open, and I'm going to open the center design. I think it's 34. Just to show you what I'm talking about. So this will look different than what is actually happening in the video. Remember, I have 506. So this is the start point. So the new version of Pro Stitcher, 535, 536, they want to open to the start point to your crosshairs. All right. So I'm going to come over to Modify, my Modify tab. Remember, if we want to do anything to a design, we need to modify it. Reposition in my ribbon. Green means it's on, it's selected. And over in my sidebar, there's this button that says 0. If designers digitize and save at 0, it always takes, this will take basically the 0, 0 coordinate and stick it right there. So we want our crosshairs at 0, 0, and I'm going to hit this 0 button and it's going to shift the design. So if you digitize, or if you stitch out your center flower and you stitch out this design, this right here, I'm going to zoom in, is the 0, 0 placement of that design. So it's not really the center of the flower because that's kind of off center, but this is your 0, 0 placement. So if you stitch out this design and then shut down your Pro Stitcher and then reboot it with your needle right here, and you're going to have to eyeball it, so it's not going to be perfect. But everything else will line up, almost, depending on how straight you can load your machine. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going back to my select tool. Seriously, this is a game changer. File, Design, Open. I don't have my, I guess I do have my layout because I have my laptop. But we're just going to pick some of the flowers in the middle. So let's do 29. Let's let it think. Oh, I don't think that's a middle one. That's kind of big. I know these are. So I'm just going to open a bunch of stuff so you can see what I'm talking about. And I had made the video, released the video, and I had an email from Kathy Zimmerman. Remember, anything she says trumps anyone else. She's the trump card. So if you play hearts, she's your trump card. If you play spades, she's your trump card. I think that's, I don't know, I don't even know if that has a trump card in it. Oh, what other flower ones are in the middle? These are more on the outside. Whatever, I'm just going to grab some. It doesn't really matter. It's going to line them up either way. Which one did I just pick up? This one. Let's do one of these and one of these. Now, keep in mind, your 0 has to stay in place. Your 0, 0 has to stay in place. Or your crosshairs have to stay at that 0, 0. So when you boot up, don't move your machine, just open your designs. Now I have a lot of stuff going on, so I'm going to go over to my workspace tab, and all those designs that I have open will live in my workspace. This one I've already done. I'm going to pick up leaf 29, modify, reposition, 0. Now I'm going back and we'll go 30, and then I'll go, and right here on my sidebar, because I have modify, reposition selected, I can just select back and forth. So I picked 30 and 0. Now I'm going back to my workspace tab in my sidebar. I'm using the sidebar tabs now. 31, reposition, 0. 32, reposition, 0. Workspace tab, 33, reposition tab, 0. Workspace tab, 35, reposition, 0. Workspace tab, 43A, reposition, 0. Do you see what's happening? Workspace tab, 42, reposition, 0. Workspace tab, 37, reposition, 0. Do you see what's happening? It is placing everything where those designs need to be. So it's doing all of the lining up for us. You're still going to have to create areas and make sure that, again, you're loaded correctly, that your 0, 0 is somewhat right. You might have to use your reposition, your nudges a little bit, but this is really lining up everything for you. So I'm going to pull up 36, because that's what fits right here. Open. I pulled up my roadmap while I was talking. So remember, it's opening the start point to my crosshairs, but I modify, reposition, 0. Do you see that? So in the video, I was showing you, and the video is only half done, and I really wanted to get this video out before the end of the month when I get back home. So there's going to be no outro. Hi, I'm Adam So Fun. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Follow me on social media, Adam So Fun with an SCW on Facebook and Instagram. There. Thanks for joining me. When I get home, I'll finally do the last row so you can see it. And I'm going to put a facing on this, and I'll probably make a video on how to do a facing. I'll probably put the facing on the long arm, because why not? It's there. But this is like game changer because of how they digitized these designs. That XY is programmed into those pieces. So once you load it, you don't this is bananas. I don't know if you can tell, I'm very excited. Kathy, thank you so much for letting me know about this, because I had no clue. I knew what the 0 did, but usually things aren't digitized with a placement. So things you'll notice in the video that I do when I open the designs, because I started with design, I was doing the outside leaves, so I just did 1, and I'll just open these 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just open 1 through 7. I think it's we're gonna open 1 through 10. 6. I looked at my map. 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I'm going to my modify reposition workspace. I think I have number 10 selected. I'm scrolling down. Perfect. Reposition 0. Workspace 9. Reposition tab 0. Sidebar workspace tab 8. Sidebar reposition tab 0. Sidebar workspace tab 7. Sidebar reposition tab 0. Sidebar workspace 6. Reposition 0. Workspace 5. Reposition 0. Workspace, and you can see 4. Reposition 0. They're all kind of disappearing off the screen because they're all the pieces at the top. 2. Reposition 0. Workspace 1. Reposition 0. Now watch this when I hit refresh. Look at that. And the only reason they're this far away is because there are pieces that live in here that also have those coordinates. Now, would I open everything and set this up? No, not at all. I don't even like to have this many designs open at one time. I like to work with what I'm working with. So on my Infinity, these flowers are all stitched. I was able to stitch from this point all the way around and do all of my leaf sections up here in one pass because my throat's so big. I was able to fit all those in. So what I did is I lined up, and you'll see this in the video, I lined up my crosshairs here because my crosshairs fit. So this all fit in my throat. So I lined up my crosshairs here, opened my stuff, but because I'm running 506 and it didn't open to your crosshairs, it opened to where it was digitized, everything opened up here and it opened in place. So when I was flying, I was thinking wait, it wasn't supposed to do that. We open to our crosshairs now. And that's how I realized while I was on a flight from Palm Springs to Dallas at 5 a.m. that, or 6 a.m., that I didn't have the current version of Pro Stitcher. So I need to, like I said, I need to update that when I get home. But really, so much easier for placement. I wish I knew this trick earlier, but I found out when I was doing the leaves. So we're going to jump back into the video, and you're going to see it done in the 506. So I'm not going to have to reposition 0 because, and only because, I am running the 506 version. But I hope this helps you out, especially for those of you who haven't started yet. Make sure you update to 535. Stitch that center piece, and you can stitch that center piece, and then you can see, it's just a little bit off from these 2 circles. So this is what I did is I looked at those, I said, okay, that looks about right. And like I said, I'm still going to create my area. So I'm going to ding, 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 ding. And if I need to shift it a little bit, I can select the design I need. So we're going to say 29. I'm still in reposition, and I'm just going to nudge it. and those nudges, these arrows, I have it set to 0.01. That's 0.01 of an inch, and it just shifts it over a tiny bit, and I can shift it around until it gets where I need it into those spaces. I hope this trick helps you. This is, like I said, game changer. I'm very excited. I don't know if you can tell. So when I do my next one, holy crap, it's going to go so quick, because everything's going to be right there. We will jump into the video. Again, the video is using 506, not the most current version. So this is how you do it with the most current version. Follow me on everything. 5,000 followers. I can't believe it. You all are amazing. I'm going to give away something. I don't know, something good. Something worth $500 or more. I think I'm just going to do a bag of Adam's favorite things, but who knows? That won't happen until November, because I have to be home, because I want to be very excited for the winter and not like stressed out that I'm on the road giving something away. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you in the next video. Happy stitching. If you have questions, there's the comments below. Leave them. Everything is linked below. You have the design linked. I just kept linking a place you can get panels, the zipper leaders, all that stuff. It's all linked below. So if you need to find it, that's great. Keep an eye out for the sew along info. I did a Facebook Live that was horrible because it kept failing or something. I don't know what's happening, but I'll get there. It was my first time. And we will see y'all in the next video. Hey, at the end of the day, it's just quilting. We want to have a good time. Go have a good time watching the rest of this video. All right, thanks, everyone.
All right, so here's the quilt so far. I've stitched this petal, a little detail right there, this petal, and a little detail right there. And now here we are on the screen. I'm going to tighten you. I can't get any closer because for this trick to work, this is how we have to be. So I have a few designs on my workspace, and you can see that I have my ruler up. And my crosshairs are at 0, 0. So when I woke up and I got this email from Kathy, she's like, "Why are you doing it the hard way?" And I said, "What do you mean by that?" And I said that to myself. Continue to read through the email. So some digitizers, when they digitize designs that need to live together like this, they will digitize in coordinates. So when you open a design up, it will open into its correct coordinate, or there's a button you can push to put it there. So in this case, this 0, 0. 0, 0 is where the machine is when you boot up the Pro Stitcher. So I tried to get it as close to the center of this design as I could when I booted Pro Stitcher up today. If my Pro Stitcher, so its needle's right here, right under where we are. If my needle was over here and I booted it up, I could still do this trick, but I'm going to have a little bit more movement to do. I can't stitch anything. I'm going to have to advance anyway, so that would not be a huge issue. They would still open correctly. But just keep in mind, if your center is right here, we start from the center, and you start with your needle in the center, then it's almost going to line things up for you. This is a game changer. Game changer. So what I'm going to do, so when we boot it up, Pro Stitcher creates the Pro Stitcher universe, and that needle is the center of that Pro Stitcher universe. It is 0, 0. So that's what I would say. Every time you boot up, it has a new center of its universe, and it's an alternate universe from what it was the day before or even an hour before. So just keep that in mind when we put these up. So I try to fit it in the center. This is where I am. I turned on my ruler because I want my crosshairs at 0, 0, and I have a 0 here and I have a 0 up here, okay? So this is number 26. This is number, I think, 19. Remember, when you purchase this design, you get a roadmap that tells you where the designs are and what they look like. The most fantastic feature. I mean, you couldn't do this without this. So I've stitched 26. I've stitched 19. I need to open 18. Watch what's going to happen. There we are. Did you see that? It lined it up for me. So I'm going to go and I'm going to open up the top row. So I need to open up 3, 2, 1, 4, design, open. And since we're just opening everything, I'm just going to open them in order. And watch how they place themselves where they need to be in the layout. This, I mean, seriously, I think I opened up 2 5s. because I'm getting so excited I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. I forgot 4. Close selected. I need to close 1, 5. 1, 2, 3. Design open. I need 4. And it's going to fill all my stuff up for me. Design open. We have 5. There's 6. And then I'm going to open up a few more so you can continue to see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to do it fast. And I'll just fast forward. Because I don't know if you need to watch me open 18 designs. You might. I mean, look at this. Like, why did nobody tell me this before? I think I actually sent her a text and said, why has nobody told us this? I think I missed that one. Yep, I did. I have that pedal. Gosh, I'm getting so, like, you don't understand. For those of you who have never done this, not this particular thing, opening it and having it be perfect, but have never worked on one of these Dream Bigs. And I know a lot of you I see there, and I want to do it, but I'm still kind of scared. I'm not really sure. Holy cow, how much easier is this than going in and placing every single petal? Now, I'm still going to go in and check to make sure my my leaves and everything are looking okay. Let's see, I need 24 and 25. I'm still going to go in and check and make sure everything looks okay. But, I mean, this is going to make things so much easier. Where's 25? Hi, it's count. I have to count in my head. So this is what I have. These are the pieces I still have to stitch. Now, I do have to advance, but I can needle down and advance this. And you know, a lot of you know I have the drag and drop method, and that's usually what I use when I advance my quilt. But I don't have anything to line up here. And the needle down method, although your needle is in your quilt, is much more accurate than dragging and dropping, because everything moves as one unit. So when I have to advance a quilt and I'm using something like clamshells or the dreaded chicken wire that looks so fantastic, any of those that they have to meet up and touch, I'm always going to do the needle down method because it's going to be more accurate for me. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to, let's see, I don't have to leave my needle here. And so I'm going to do this top part. I'm going to advance and do this top part. And then when I come back to advance the other way, because I'm going to have to do the bottom, I'll come right back here, line up my my 0, 0. I'll delete everything on my screen and just pick up the bottom set of the leaves, and then advance down and stitch those out too. So, but let's go through how I'm going to advance this. So I am going to I don't want to put needle down here because it's only going to go down a little bit. I'm going to move up, and I'm looking at my quilt. So I'm looking, let me tilt you down so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm looking at my quilt, and I've stitched here, and about from right here straight across is what I've stitched so far. So if I needle down about here, that's giving me about an inch before I stitched, needle down. My needle is in my quilt now, and now when I move the quilt, and I advance using my rollers, and I roll this towards me because we're coming this way, it's moving the machine too. It's a heavy machine, so I'm not going to go bat crazy. I am going to go nice turtle speed. I'm not a rabbit. So, needle is down. And sometimes when I do this, I put a little sticky note up here, and it says needle down, to remind me that my needle is down in my quilt, because I don't do it so often that sometimes I'm going to turn the ruler off. Sometimes I forget, and I have a tendency to just grab the machine and move it. So this is just something up here on the screen, so when I look, or something on the handlebar, so I know, hey, your needle's down before you just grab the machine and go. The next step, very important, before you do anything, you have to hit drag. Drag will turn green and say drop. And now anytime the machine moves, the screen moves with it. Or your designs move with it. Actually, I'm going to select all. That's select all. Select none, select multiple, select all. And now I'm going to hit drag. You can see a lot of jumps and stuff. That's okay. I don't have to keep them all selected. I didn't baseline them and freeze them together. Now I'm going over to the bars, and I'm going to advance. And watch what happens on the screen. I'm going to keep you on the screen. So everything advanced. I'll move you back a little bit so you can see it a little better. But now my stuff lives halfway off the screen because my needle is right next to my bar. What I love about the Infinity is I'm going to be able to stitch all of this in one pass. Greatest thing on earth. So when you are doing this method, I'm not going to hit drop until I have fully stabilized my quilt. So I'm going to put my side clamps on. I've tightened my bars, so side clamps on, and then I'm going to come back and hit drop. The reason we don't hit drop yet is because even the little bit of pull right or left from the right and the left with the clamps is going to shift everything a little bit, and this will keep everything nice and accurate. Like I said, it's more accurate than the other way. Alright, so now I'm all nice. I've tightened up everything, and I'm ready to hit drop. I'm going to hit the bottom house, which is refresh. And now it looks exactly the same. It's just moved with everything else. Now, my little sticker up here says needle up, although there's not a sticker. I'm going to needle up and just move my machine out of the way. And now I have advanced everything. So now I have to go in and make sure stuff is in the right place. So it's just like we did last time. I'm going to slide you over, and you're going to move over with me. And I don't think you have to see this whole thing, but I'll do the first few leaves. Let's see. I don't want anything selected. I can hit select none. That will deselect everything. I have a lot of designs here. What I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. 25. I have 25 designs open right here. That's a lot. I don't really like to have that much on my screen, but they're not huge designs. They're not, these ones are just kind of straight lines. Some of them are really little, so it's not taking up too much brain power from the tablet. If it were, I might do half on one side and then go in and do the other half. Whatever works. If you find your tablet is getting a little sluggish, and you have this many designs or even more, probably have too much going on your screen. So I'm not going to point the camera down because I just don't feel like going back and forth and back and forth. And you can kind of see where stuff is sitting here. But I'm going to make an area around this leaf right here. So area tab. I can use the diamond on my handlebar. Let me see if I can turn you this way. That's probably going to be better. And here we go. Now I can zoom in. So we're shifted a little bit to the right. I need to see where that is. Oh yeah, so everything's a little bit shifted to the right. I think it's probably because I didn't have my my side clamps on when I did the last one, but that's okay. So now I know everything's probably shifted a little bit to the right. I'm gonna pick up these two designs as well. I've already stitched them. I'm not gonna restitch them, but it's gonna keep this edge lined up, so it's gonna help me kind of keep everything lined up over there. And really, honestly, I'm going to select all and shift this one piece over. I'll zoom into this petal, because if I place this and this one's lined up and everything's already lined up where it's supposed to be, this is going to shift everything this much, that like, because we have to shift this much over, it's going to shift everything together, and that will probably keep us from having to move too much later on. So let me see something. We're shifted there. All right, so I'm going to use drag and drop. Again, to use drag and drop, I have everything selected. This time I'm not needle down because I'm going to use my machine to move. I'm going to hit drag. And when you use this, by moving your machine, you move everything, the design in your area, in your quilt space. Let's see, zoom. That looks like it's in there pretty good. I'm going to hit drop, because we're only interested in this one, right? So now everything's going to kind of be living in its place. It might not be perfect. Actually, I'm going to drag and go up a little bit. And this is just when people start to get nitpicky and hit drop. So everything should kind of live in the correct place right now, but I'm still going to go and check them. So I'm going to deselect everything, select none, the arrow with the triangle. And now I know that leaf is at least good. I'm going to come up, area tab, clear. I don't want to clear that area. And I'm going to draw, let's see, I'm going to tilt you down. I'm going to draw areas around like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All kind of basically to the center. I'm gonna try to do that area around all of those. So my area is cleared. I'll start here, and I will just come out. Remember, this is just a rough guide. I couldn't hear it for a second, so I stopped to look at my screen to make sure those areas were coming in. Oh. Gone. And you do kind of have to go back to where you started, or you get this weird line coming through. In this case, I'm not going to go back to where I started because I want you to see what the line is I'm talking about. So let's move you back to the screen. And so there's my area. I will zoom in so you can see as good as you can. Yeah, that did pretty good. And now I can move my pieces. In this case, I'm not going to pick everything on the path. I'm just going to move those pieces that I need to. So one by one. So my select tool, I will pick up this little leaf here, drag, move my machine, and drop. Pick my piece up, drag, move my machine, and drop. Now here, I went over that line right there, so I'm going to go check it. I'm going to move my crosshairs to where it looks like it's going over the line. And it's going over the line a little bit, so I can drag and just shift it out a bit. And drop. Pick this one up, drag, and drop. But because they digitized this for easy use, kind of for beginners, it's going to give us, it gives us some slack. We don't have to be perfect. Places I want to try to be perfect, things like this. I'm coming into that petal right here. I know that I didn't do the best job outlining these things. I went fast. So let me come over here and check it again. Right there. I'm actually, see how high that pink line is? You probably can't see that, but we'll do this. See how high that pink line is compared to my design? My crosshairs are currently in the leaf. That's how great of a job I did. This is just for placement, so I usually don't worry too much. I'm going to go up a little bit because of where it was sitting. And this is background. This is background fill. It's just some lines to give some definition in places. So I am not really that worried if these lines aren't exactly perfect. Now, do you see what happened? I tapped the screen and my lines are green now. That means I have just picked up my area. And if I try to drag and drop, I'm going to move my area and then I'm going to have to do it all over again. So I'm going to be really careful. Tap something else. do my drag and drop. People do this all the time. You know you've moved your area if you try to stitch, or you try to, or your area is dashed. You know you've moved your area if your area is dashed. Let's see. Drop, drag, drop, drag, drop, and I gotta come down. I need to see the other part of these. Oh. Drop, and that looks like the lines over in these areas, you can't super see the definition, so I'm gonna go through, and especially like this one, remember, anything that's up close to the petals, I'm going to check and make sure that it is how it needs to be. There's a pretty big gap here, so I'm pretty sure that all of that can be shifted this way just a bit. Yeah, you can still see. All right, so let me check this last one. I will zoom in to this area. Let me shift you over, and I'll show you what's going on down here. See how there's a, oh, there we are. See how there's a funky wave area, so we're going to just kind of follow that. I'm in the green, in the green, in the green, in the green, green. We're good there. And then this one was the one that was sat like it was sitting super far over. This is the green. So this is very close right here. So I'm just gonna drag it and move it up. Oops, I'm moving the wrong thing. Drop, undo. Oops, I'm still on Zoom. We need this one. Select, drag, and drop. So these ones are set. Now I'm going to do the other side. I won't walk you through it. I'm going to do the exact same process. I'll speed it up, but I won't speed it up like 20 times fast, maybe like 2 or 4 times fast. But I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and then I'll come back and we will stitch it out. All right, everyone. So this is the top part. I think that took about 25 minutes to do the whole stitch out. But that is the whole top part with all of the background detail. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. The only difference is I'm going to do it kind of fast forward, so you don't have to watch me do the same thing. But when I'm doing the placement and opening it, and I'll do all that stuff slow. But when I do the stitch out, I will speed it up. But yeah, look at that. Look how great this thing looks. I am so excited to have this done and send it off to its new owner whenever I get it bound. Binding. All right, we'll see you in a second whenever I advance.